My mother is a first grade teacher in Atlanta, Georgia, and she has been teaching first grade for 37 years. So when I think of teaching, immediately I go straight to my mother. Everything I know, my mom has had a big influence on that. My favorite part about teaching, besides the opportunities to inspire and shape lives every day, I think would be when the students come back and they talk to you about the impact you've made on their lives. You see your impact that same year. You know you have had a positive impact on your students. But 10 years down the line, if someone is still remembering those very, very important life lessons that we learned in our classroom, that's amazing. Teaching is the most amazing profession there is, and I believe that with all my heart.
I was inspired to be a teacher from a really young age. I loved school. I loved elementary, middle, high. I also really was driven by my coaches through sports, the impact they had on me to push me as an athlete, which made me push as a student because we had to be students first. It was such a positive experience that I wanted to instill that positive experience with other children. My favorite part of being a teacher is definitely getting to know the students and seeing them grow and change throughout the year. They come in nervous, excited, unsure. I have the pleasure of working with them to make them feel confident in themselves and passionate about learning. And my goal is, of course, to teach them the fourth grade curriculum, but also to make them know how to learn, understand what kind of learner they are, and give them the tools they need to continue to learn throughout their life. And hopefully in turn they will come back, live in this community or in whatever community they choose, and be able to give back to that community because they've gained the knowledge and they have the passion to take action in their community.
I got into teaching because I grew up in a single-parent household where my mom was an alcoholic. And going home sometimes, it wasn't always that stability that I was looking for. But I realized early on as a kid that going to school, I could always have a safe environment. I could always count on my teachers to smile at me, to tell me I was doing a good job, and have just, amazing expectation from me. And I wanted that feeling, for all kids. My favorite part about teaching is being able to be a part of my students' short-term and long-term goals and to see them experience success after they leave elementary, middle school, and high school. To be a Teacher of the Year finalist, I feel very humble. I feel honored because I work with a lot of amazing teachers, and I know that any given day, any of them could have been the finalist for Teacher of the Year. I feel validated and I feel honored.
I call them scholars instead of students or children. That it's something that is incorporated in my class. Just because they can be a child or a kid anywhere in school where they learn, they have to be scholars. My favorite part is just them becoming great and loving school every single day. Not just as a person, but their character, and take it all in and allow education to be everything to them. The scholars motivate me every day, and with that I try to give it right back to them. And that inspires me every day because I have parents who I had their children a long time ago, and they come up and say, if it wasn't for you, I don't know where they would be. And that's a great thing to hear and see, not only from the scholars, but their parents.
I'm originally from Malawi, Africa. I grew up here in Nashville, went to Metro Nashville Public Schools. When I first came to the United States, I had a trouble distinguishing between my native language, Chichewa, and English. I was taught both of them at the same time, but I didn't realize they were two separate languages. So I had some really great teachers who were very patient with me. And all of a sudden, one day I was like, this would be fantastic. I would love to do something very similar. In Florida, I worked at a school that was roughly 65% ELL population. So most of my students had been in the country for only a few years and were learning English. I went and got classes in specializations in that area and reading specializations so that I could better educate my students. But some of it also just came from intuition and gut because I learned this way. So I've always had a real big heart for students who need the most. So my ELL populations needed a lot of help. I've been there, so I feel like I know this. I can help these kids.
What inspired me to become a teacher is when I was younger, I was a Girl Scout, and for one of our Girl Scout badges, we had to teach somebody something. So I had the opportunity to go and work with a younger group of Girl Scouts, and I taught them some French. After that experience, the teaching bug just hit me, and I knew that I wanted to be a teacher. My favorite part about teaching is seeing students grow and change over the year. I love when they come in and they may not feel really excited about math, but eventually they have these experiences at school, they have these experiences in my classroom, they change, they grow, they learn, they become really confident learners. We have this absolutely demanding and challenging job, but it is just really truly an honor and a blessing to be able to represent so many teachers who believe in kids, who believe in the power of education, and who believe that they can be great and really want to see them be successful.
What inspired me to teach was just wanting to provide kind of an avenue and services for students that I didn't have growing up. I grew up in a suburban area, but the school that I went to didn't offer computer science. They didn't offer a lot of the stuff that interests me. So when I graduated, I kind of felt unprepared. I started working in industry, and then I found that it wasn't really fulfilling because I was helping people, but my job was really redundant, and I wanted something that was more dynamic. And so a position came open, and it just worked out, but it seems as though this has been a good fit for me. It's been a calling for me, and I really enjoy it. My favorite part of teaching is reaching the student that no one else could reach. Reaching the person who feels like they're not necessarily good at this, or I'm not good at math, or I'm not good at science, and saying, you are math, you are science, yes you can do these things, and just kind of seeing a student's eyes light up when that kind of light clicks off. When they get that aha moment, I live for that.
At Overton, my AP music theory teacher, Carolyn Jarrett, she asked me a couple times throughout the year to teach the class. But the students were struggling with something and she couldn't quite get it across, and she thought I might be able to communicate with them in a different way, and so she let me teach. And I didn't realize it at the time, but later in college I thought back on that experience and thought that was something that I would enjoy. I didn't like math in high school very much at all, to be honest. But when you get to college, things change. I changed majors, I think, 6 times in college, and found out that I was just a nerd and I liked everything. And so I eventually decided that I wanted to teach, and math was the route that I chose. My favorite memory probably be winning the cross-country state championship. It was just wonderful to see a group of young people have a common goal that they worked towards for 4 years, and they were driven and motivated, and to see that hard work pay off was very rewarding. My favorite part of being a teacher is probably when students come back after they've graduated and tell you directly that what I learned in your class has made a difference. And so you know that you've had an actual impact in somebody's life.
What inspired me to be a teacher is, I guess, kind of all my life, have always looked up to my teachers. I've had really great teachers and really bad teachers, and I've taken, I guess, it upon myself to want to work with kids and be a better teacher. So when they look back, they've got a good teacher as opposed to a bad teacher. My favorite part about teaching has definitely been, the kids. Like, they're the most important people I know. Seeing the freshmen now who are seniors and who are graduating, and all the things that they've achieved and how they've grown in the last 4 years. I'm very humbled to be recognized as somebody who's doing a great job in the district, because I know there's a lot of fantastic teachers out there, and I'm just honored to even be part of that. And I know that all of us work hard to achieve the same goal, and it's just really, really special to be here.